Hi, welcome back to Career Accelerator Hacks Live. You're here with me, Sally Spicer. We should be broadcasting to LinkedIn, to Facebook, and also to YouTube. And as you can see, I'm not on my own today. I'm joined by the incredible Kim Diaz. Thank you so much for joining me, Kim.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Nice to be here. So, some of you will know, a lot of you won't know, that Kim and I are dear friends. We've been friends for, my goodness, probably about 10 years or so now. We've worked together. We've had the fortunate, and actually, do you know what? It's International Gratitude Day today. So I'm really grateful for you being here. Thank you so much for joining me. So Kim has got 14 years recruitment experience. You might have seen on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago, we went out for lunch and we were literally talking about all the things that we were going to talk about on this live. Between us, we've got 38 years, something ridiculous recruitment experience. Which, yeah, it does make us sound really, really old. But Kim is the director of client experience for 3R. So I'll let you introduce yourself, Kim, and just tell us a little bit about what you do.
Lovely, thank you. So yeah, I am now the Director of Client Experience at 3R, which is a new role for me. Really excited to be in this position now, sort of leading the team forward, looking after all of our clients and looking at retention as well, and also looking at partnerships and really growing the partnerships aspect of 3R. But yeah, I've worked in recruitment for a long time. So I had about 14 years experience working in recruitment, came straight out of uni and went to work at Match Tech, had a brilliant time working there. Worked in the work-based learning side of things and moved into more technical recruitment within built environment and power and nuclear. Wow. And then, yeah, Mike was my director there, and he left the business and launched 3R. And we met for a coffee one day to have a chat about what was going on and what he was doing. And I was the first hire, and that was 6.5 years ago now. So time flies when you're having fun.
Do you know what? It does fly. And it's interesting, the route that Mike took, because a lot of people, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in a lot of detail because it's what you do and what 3R do to support your clients. But a lot of people leave recruitment, then go up and set up on their own. But Mike really did see a gap in the market, which was to support those who were going out there to set up their own recruitment businesses. So can you kind of give us a snapshot of what kind of 3R does in terms of the back office bits that you support your clients with?
Yeah, definitely. So initially, when I joined the business, we were really heavily focused on the startup aspect of it, and launching those people that wanted to go out on their own and do it for themselves. And the majority of those clients are still working with us, which is brilliant, and have grown into really successful sort of multi-million-pound businesses. Wow. But the business really did evolve, and quite quickly. So we were outsourcing certain aspects of the business and overseeing everything, from incorporating the company, getting them in touch with an accountant, helping them get a business bank account set up, dealing with their branding, their website, terms of business and legals, back office, finance. So we were supporting them through all of that. And at that time, we actually outsourced the back office element of it to another business. But after a while, we just realized that just wasn't working out so well. Mm-hmm. And having seen how it was working, we really thought we could do better. So we've got an in-house IT dev team. Wow. That are experienced in building recruitment-specific technology, CRM and back office, and they had the CRM built, which is what we launched. We went out with to the startups side of things, but we decided then to start building the back office system so that we could bring that in-house and the finance alongside it, and then manage that for our clients. And it took a lot of work and a lot of testing and time to be built and rolled out, and that is our sort of core piece of technology now that we work with our clients on.
That's fantastic. So they come to you, they want to set up a business, they come to you, and they can basically get everything to get them off the ground.
Yeah, exactly. We work with specialist recruiters, and we work with both perm and contract businesses. And I think sometimes people can be sort of pigeonholed a bit with their recruitment training, and when they're employed, and we do support people in that kind of growth into being able to cover off both perm and contract if they haven't had that opportunity to do so before. So yeah, we've got a lot of experience that we can pull upon within the team. And as the team's grown, the majority of staff that we've brought into the business have also worked in recruitment as well. So it really does help to have that to fall back on, so that we can really be there to support our clients as they, with any random challenge that gets thrown up throughout the day. You know what it's like, Sally. You never know what clients are going to do.
It's like. And I think you're absolutely right. I think there are two different elements to it, aren't there? There is the world of recruitment that is continually evolving, which I really want to kind of talk to you about. But then you're absolutely right. It's that business bit, which continually evolves. If you can just take IR35, I know that we, that was implemented and rolled out within the public sector a couple of years ago. But if you put that on, that in itself this year has been a huge thing for contract recruiters to overcome. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about that? I think for people who aren't contractors, don't hire staff, are out there kind of in the working world who might be watching this, I don't think they have any idea about the enormity of the changes that kind of put on us as recruiters.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big, massive legislation change. And, it happened prior to that with GDPR, and we had to, adapt and evolve and understand it and figure out how we could support our clients with that. And we've, had to do the same with the IR35 changes that came out. Like you said, we knew it was happening, and it was delayed because of COVID. So it gave people a bit more time. It gave contractors a bit more time, and clients. And really, that's where it sits now. It sits with the client. They now have to make that determination to decide whether the position is inside or outside of IR35, which has taken that away from the contractor. And, it's a big change for them to get used to, but it's we've got to go with it. We've got to work within it. And actually it hasn't affected things as massively as we thought it might. We adapted our systems to be able to support our recruiters with those changes. Whenever a placement is put through the system, they then had to get that clarification from the client about whether it was inside or outside of IR35. And, that's where it sits now. It sits with the client. So we capture that information and record it, and, they're able to see a full audit trail on the back office tech that we've got to know exactly where they are with regard to IR35. And contract is there and will always be there to really fill these niche, specialist gaps in the market. They're still going to be there regardless of IR35, so everyone's just had to adapt and move forward with it, and it hasn't actually affected things as too much. No.
So talk to me about the impact that COVID has, because, I work for one, very large, if you like, recruitment agency, for the impact it had on us. And I think it's safe to say that it's one of the first industries to be impacted because everyone stops hiring immediately. We had offers retracted, people have had their trends. Have you seen?
Well, COVID was a massive thing, wasn't it? And no one anticipated the length of it, really, and how much it would affect things and change things. The thing is about recruitment, though, I really do think that recruitment thrives in times of change, and where there are these sort of disasters happening, that really affect our sort of norm that we're working in. There are, on the flip side of that, there's always opportunity. having said that, perm business pretty much fell off a cliff for a short while, and it was a big thing for our clients.
Mm-hmm.
The benefit, I think, having the businesses that we work with are small niche businesses, generally within their first few years. They're very lean, so they don't have loads of staff. And a lot of overheads that go with that. So I think, they were probably better positioned than some of the big corps to be able to manage that sort of shift. And it did, it sort of January 2020, as I said, the perm side of things really did drop off, and for that sort of spring summer, we were probably working at about 25% of perm and contract recruitment that we were before. But since sort of the towards the end of that summer, you sort of get to sort of September, October time last year, things started picking back up, and that has continued throughout. And then we get to January this year, and we've recovered. We're back at the same levels that we were before, and actually from January until now, it's absolutely booming. So it's steaming ahead. We've doubled what the business that's going through has doubled.
Wow.
So I would say it's recovered, but it was probably it was difficult for a little while, and I imagine very daunting for our clients, and we spent a lot of time speaking with them, and just running through that. What if this, what if that, what's next? But thankfully towards the end of the summer it did start to start going back up.
Yeah, well, I didn't realise that the industry was worth over like £35 billion to our economy, which I think is just incredible.
Yeah, that's massive.
There's over 150,000 recruiters or recruitment, who work in recruitment roles in the UK, and I just think that's a huge proportion. And also a huge proportion of them are really, really passionate about what they do. Recruitment to work in it, and we've both worked in it as billing consultants. It's tough, it's dog eat dog out there. You have to have a huge amount of resilience, and I think to be successful in recruitment, and also not to take things personally. First lessons I've ever learned: don't take it personally. It's not about you; it's about them. And I think
Definitely.
that's when I started thinking, actually, no, I can do this job. But I think you have to have quite a lot of resilience. But I'm really interested in the way that recruitment has evolved, even in the last 18 months. And, I'm interested to know the kind of clients that you work with, because I know within our organisations and our businesses, we're becoming more and more and more niche. And this is from someone who used to work in a high street agency. Yes, I used to work in kind of commercial and admin, but that's such a umbrella, and you would be able to find people and be able to deliver on those levels. Now everyone's becoming more and more niche, and I just genuinely think it's the right way to go.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we have that we've focused on with all of our startups, and we actually only launch specialist recruitment businesses, and really feel that that's the way the industry is moving, and has been moving for some time. To have those niche skills really puts you at such a strong position. You'll know your client base better than anyone else. You'll understand the types of work that your clients are trying to deliver, to be able to source suitable candidates for those roles. You'll understand your candidate market better than anyone else if you really do hone in and have that specific understanding of your sector. So we don't launch generalist recruitment businesses, and we actually don't work with many generalist recruitment businesses, even on the finance and back office side of things. They are all specialist businesses, and I think it will continue to go that way. And that network that you build up and that you create and you work within really really just, will just keep working for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely do. Majority of our businesses are within a vast array of specific IT sectors, digital, cyber, data, procurement, finance, engineering, some in education as well, and sort of medical, life sciences and healthcare. So, it really does work, I think, to be a specialist recruiter on so many levels.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think, you get 80% of your revenue from 20% of your clients, don't you? That's the rule, isn't it? If you can build and develop, a really strong, 6 to 10 clients, that is going to deliver 80% of your revenue. And I think you can only do that if you really specialize in what you do and what you deliver. And talk to me about, the tech stack that is out there and available to recruiters now, because, we get privileged to test a load of tech. I was one of the, I was part of the team in the UK who piloted LinkedIn Recruiter. And I remember at the time, oh my God, I just, it was almost like I felt like it was like a double database. So you had your database and then you were going on to the recruiter. I mean, if someone, Sally, we're taking your recruiter license away from you now, I think I would throw a tantrum. It just becomes second nature, doesn't it, in terms of growing talent pools, which is so important in terms of client delivery. But you must get to see a whole array of different tech that are available to help recruiters do their job better. So how has that evolved?
Definitely. I think like you're saying, there's so much technology out there that's available. And I think that you get used to certain systems that you like and ways of working that, that work really well for you. A lot of our businesses, really like using LinkedIn Recruiter and are used to using LinkedIn Recruiter. So I think that works really well for a lot of them. We supply key pieces of technology. So we've got a CRM system that we supply that integrates in with the back office. But as I said before, the sort of key leading piece of technology that we've got is the back office. And that integrates with the likes of Bullhorn and, we've got links with Vincere, and there will be other links that we can put in place with other CRMs that recruiters are using. So we're looking at Zoho as well, and Job Adder. So there's so much out there, and there are ways for these things to integrate and work together. And that's part. I love having our own in-house IT team that I can call up and say, look, could you have a look into this and see, what are the options with us being able to work with this business or this business. So I think LinkedIn Recruiter is key, I think, and one that people really like to use. So, but there are others out there for sourcing, for marketing, for generating you leads and vacancy leads as well. So there's a lot of different options out there, and I'm exploring that more and more in the partnership side of our business. So we are growing that aspect of the business now in looking to partner with other leading pieces of technology, suppliers of technology out there to the recruitment sector, so that we can offer those hopefully integrations in the future, but also offer those deals all under one roof for our client base as well, and be able to really see how it works. Because I think you said earlier, when you're within one business and you're all trying out certain pieces of tech, you don't get to see how it might work within a specific sector, or how well it works in another. And we do have that sort of overall view from being able to partner with all these different businesses and different recruitment sectors. So
and I think what's been interesting over the last I want to say 18 months, but I feel like it's almost 2 years. No, it's not 2 years yet. It is 18 months, because obviously with the pandemic here, and I think all of us went to LinkedIn looking for something different. And I think a real overarching theme that came out was personal brand, and what the likes of Anderson does and Amelia Sordell does in terms of personal brand. As a recruiter, I think all recruiters are absolutely missing a trick if they're not using social media platforms to promote their own personal brand, because it costs absolutely nothing other than having to get over yourself and get yourself, you don't even put your face on it if you don't want to.
Yeah. That's the biggest challenge, I think, is, and I've experienced it myself trying to, do it for our business. And we're putting ourselves out there, we're lucky. Recruiters want to be found and be seen, and we can network with and grow our network really easily within recruitment, which is fantastic for us. But I think it is just that thing of, like you say, having to get over yourself and put yourself out there, and it can be difficult, I think, for some people. And once you do it, you just got to keep moving with it. And I think the personal brand side of things, particularly with having specialist skills and understanding an industry, you can really pull upon that to be able to promote that on LinkedIn for free. It's not. It's there, isn't it? It's there and waiting to be used. And I can't remember the stat, but I've seen that, I think it's only like 1 in 10 or something people actually post on LinkedIn.
Oh,
put anything out.
It's like,
is it right? Okay, it's I knew you would know the stat.
It's like 1%, and so absolutely, if you're good, and I think as well, it just takes practice. I mean, I remember your video when you put up your bloopers, but that's funny, and it makes, you know what I mean? It's just funny. And did you see the one the other day of Paul O'Brien? I don't know if he's going to be watching this. Him like Irish dancing. I just love that kind of stuff.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
was that on a beach hut? Was he dancing on a beach hut? Yeah, I did see that. And my daughter got up this morning and she said, "Don't worry, Mum, you'll be fine. It will be okay." And if you say something silly, well, it'll just be funny. So there we go.
Yeah, I mean, my goodness, I've made so many bloopers going live and like doing video, and I just think actually,
we're all people.
Exactly. And I think it makes you more approachable if you're not so. And I think this is what I've loved about LinkedIn over the last couple of years, is that it's far less stuffy, it's far less corporate. It's okay to have an opinion. And actually you are imparting knowledge on other people. Like when I first started doing it, it's because I was spending my days talking to candidates who were desperately looking for work and who weren't being prepared for interview.
I remember those ones.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All the interview prep.
I can do this standing on my head. Like, this is what I do for a living. So if I can just help someone by doing it, and that's basically how the whole coaching business was born. You've got a genuine, and I think you're so passionate about what you do in terms of the people that you help and watching them flourish and grow and be successful. I think that really comes across in your service.
I think I'm glad it does, because it really is key to our business. We've grown organically. We don't currently have an outbound sales team. We haven't. We've grown the business on referrals and also on retention. Like I said earlier on, the majority of our clients that we first launched are still working with us, and it's brilliant. I love it. I love being part of these businesses. I feel like I'm part of these businesses. And so do the rest of the team that are there supporting them, the accounts team that are speaking to them, every few days about all sorts of, weird and wonderful things. And, us helping them in trialing a new job board, for example, or, they've got a particular client that needs to invoice in a different way. How can we help them with it? It's just, we're involved in all these aspects of their business and seeing them grow and develop. And it's just, it really is key. And we've had that feedback as well from our clients that, so I think someone said, we like the tech, it's really good. It does the job for us. It's automated. You can see it all. It's great. But really, we just like being able to phone you up and have a chat with you when we need to take on a member of staff and we've got some questions, or, we need to, explore doing something else or look at going into a new market. What do you think about it? So it's all of that kind of added service stuff that, that really helps these businesses grow and develop. And it is the nicest part of the job. It's the best bit, really. I really enjoy it. And
I couldn't agree more. I honestly couldn't agree more. And I think generally genuinely partnering with businesses is the most rewarding part of recruitment. Getting someone a new job and a new opportunity, getting them that pay rise or that promotion is amazing. It really is. But being able to work in true partnership with a HR team, a talent team, or a line manager to help solve their problems, I think is so rewarding. And I can see why you would find that rewarding, really truly partnering with your businesses.
Yeah.
One of the main challenges that I'm seeing, and I obviously network with a huge amount of recruiters across all industries, is candidates. I mean, we all send each other, we're on this like massive WhatsApp group, and we all send each other these little gifts of like, basically, where are all the candidates? Where are all the candidates? So many things, have contributed towards that, haven't they? But are you hearing the same noises?
Yeah, I think so. I think Brexit would have affected that in certain sectors as well, and I think COVID has affected it as well. I think people are looking for changes, and obviously people that were made redundant and out of work looking to move into new industries and new areas. I think, though, there have always been candidate shortages, Sally, particularly in particularly in the niche sectors that, I've worked in previously. There's never a happy medium. I think otherwise we'd probably recruitment industry would probably cease to exist. They need, there needs to be vacant. There are a lot of vacancies there out there at the moment. I think it just happens in swings and roundabouts like that often. And it could. It is something that we're hearing a lot, but I think it's always been there.
We're seeing, and I kind of liken it to the house market at the moment, in terms of there isn't, the demand on candidates is higher than there. I mean, there's a million vacancies. It's reported there's a million vacancies at the moment in the UK economy.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that, yes, there is people who are out there on the market, but there isn't that natural kind of attrition of people leaving. There is still not enough confidence in the market for people to really leave permanent, stable jobs, even if they're unhappy in what they're doing. So we haven't seen that switch yet. And interestingly, I was having a chat with the CFO this morning, and we discussed that actually maybe getting past the winter months when things are, because we don't know what's going to happen going into our kind of first proper winter kind of double vaccine, and whether that's going to improve the candidate flow in the coming months, kind of post Christmas. But what we are seeing is there is a war on talent, and actually salaries are going up. So salaries aren't going up because the candidates aren't moving. And so but we're seeing as a percentage of clients who are kind of cottoning onto that and saying, actually, we're just going to bite the bullet and, recruit at that level. And there's others saying, absolutely not, we can't pay anymore. And those roles are remaining unfilled.
Yeah. It's a really difficult one, isn't it? And it's putting it back on that client a bit more, really, for them to really, consider these sort of alternatives and other things to look at as well. I hadn't actually thought of that, to be honest, so that's quite insightful, that understanding it from that client perspective of people not actually making that leap. And it does make sense, doesn't it, given the circumstances, I suppose, that they would be holding on for a bit longer, maybe, like you say, even if they're not that happy.
Yeah, we're genuinely only seeing people in the market who are really, really unhappy with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so the motivation is there to move, but there's not an abundance of people. For anyone who is struggling to recruit at the moment, I'm going to let you all into a massive secret, right? There is a whole community of part-time working parents who can come and do the job standing on their heads who you're not even considering. So if you have got a role that's been unfilled, it's been left vacant for 3 months and you haven't found anyone, tap into a different pool. Go down the childcare route, because I'm a huge advocate for women in business. We're both working mums. We both have periods of flexibility in our careers, but that isn't not everyone gets that opportunity, but you're missing out massively on a huge talent pool out there.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that. And even just from my own personal experience with it, as well as witnessing other mums in the same situation, you need that flexibility to be able to move forward. I I wouldn't have been able to have my recent promotion if I hadn't have had that flexibility and been able to move my career forward. So, you know, they are missing a trick for sure if they're still not considering it. And I just think it pays dividends, you know.
Yeah.
It just pays dividends for them. You know, you've got loyal employees that you know, do appreciate having that level of flexibility to be able to, you know, I don't know, go to a sports day or a nativity or, you know, those kinds of things that are just, you know, really important and shouldn't be missed for anything if you can help it, you know. And definitely, yeah, like you say, untapped market there. And you'd probably get you know, a lot more work done in 3 or 4 days than you would if you had them sat there all week anyway.
I completely agree. I'm going to share an article with you all actually after this about a 4-day week article that I've just listened to. Yeah, absolutely incredible. And I think as well, it's quite short aside. I'm going to go on a magic rabbit hole now. I'm not. I'm just going to make this one more point on this. But, you know, there are times when you're bringing up children and you are a carer in whatever capacity, they need you at different times, don't they? When they're
definitely
all time, when they then you know get into school, yes, you've got to get into school. I've now got 2 older ones, they're 12 and 15. I mean, I'd be lucky if they talk to me, you know. They don't need my attention all
I'm going into that.
Yes, I know, it's awful actually. I love it's just awful if they don't talk to me. Exactly. But I just think, you know, there just needs to be flexibility as the kids are growing up, because they're not going to be, you know, needing you forever, and then absolutely you're back into the career. But what we're seeing is there's not enough women at that director level or manager level, because they've had to completely remove themselves from the workplace and then go and try and get back in again.
Yeah,
and
it's a real shame.
It is a shame. It is a shame, and something needs to change. So I'm not going to go on about that. So last question then for you is, last couple of questions is, what are your predictions for the recruitment for the next year? Are we still going to continue to rise? Are people still going to be? Actually, no, I have got a really valid question for you. Actually, how many more do you see set up in the last 18 months compared to other years?
How? Sorry, what was that? Say that again.
How many more people set up on their own?
Since September last year, we have probably almost doubled the amount of startups that we've been bringing through. And we don't start up everybody that comes to us that wants to launch a recruitment business either. So, you know, we learn early on the types of businesses that we want to work with. And as I mentioned before, you know, them being niche and specialist is really key to that. Them having that drive and determination and that billing background is really important. And also, they don't, you know, we don't go out looking for them. They come to us, and that's really key as well. They need to be seeking these things out, these opportunities out, and that's, you know, that's great. So yeah, I think it will only continue to keep rising, and we're certainly seeing that from sort of January to now. You know, it's absolutely booming, and I think it will continue to do so and continue to grow on both perm and contract, and with the startup side of, you know, startup side of things as well. There's so many niche industries to be tapped into out there, and people, and there are still really strong recruiters out there, you know, that can question people effectively and listen properly and match, you know, really well, and control that process. And that's still so crucial. You know, you can have all the tech in the world, but you do need to fall back on those basics and that basic training that you need to be able to get the job done at the end of the day. And that is through networking and talking and listening and control and, you know, monitoring and managing situations and people for them to be able to move forward. So yeah, I think it will I think it will continue booming, and I hope it continues booming.
And it's no easy feat trying to organise 20 interviews in one week. It's not easy. I can say that. No. Sometimes I'm just like, I just need a PA. Help me. Help me.
Have you not got one yet, Sally? What's going on? Come on.
I did ask one in my last review. They just laughed at me and said, do it yourself. But yeah, you're right. You know, there is so much to it. And I think it's really interesting that recruiters do get this kind of, you know, you are pushing, you are, you know, actually you have to control the process. If you don't control the process, it will fall apart.
Yeah,
and that's essentially,
definitely.
You're not paying for the network, you're paying for somebody to manage that process for you.
Yeah. You really got to understand it all. You know, you've really got to understand those needs of your client. You've really got to understand the needs of the candidate to be able to find those matches and make that happen and make those introductions. You know, it's, you can't, you know, you can't, you won't get anywhere without having that sort of solid foundation, I don't think, in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the market's booming, which is brilliant to know. It's worth a huge amount of money to the UK economy. You know, we are experts in what we do. So don't be too hard on us recruiters. We do get a bad name sometimes. Well, you're not a recruiter anymore, you lucky thing.
I think, you know, I think that will continue to change, though. You know, I think that people are always going to have a certain opinion, aren't they, of recruiters? But like you're saying, with the, you know, it's crucial. Businesses need us, and you know, honing in on those niche skills and, you know, working in those specialist areas is just only going to help continue to grow. So that's good.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I could talk to you all afternoon, but thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Sally.
I really appreciate it. And I look forward to doing it again soon.
Lovely. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.